Title 49 CFR, Part 269, Alternative Passengers Rail Service Pilot Program. 269.1, Purpose. 269.3, Application. 269.5, Definition. 269.7, Petitions. 269, Bid Process. 269.11, Evaluation. 269.13, Award. 269.15, Access to Facilities Employees. Access to Facilities Employees. 269.17, Necessitation of Service Authority, Section 214, Division B, Public Law 110.432, Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 24711, Title 49 CFR 14.49, Source 76 Federal Register 77724, December 14, 2011, unless otherwise noted. Alright, 269 Purpose. The purpose of the employment of the care of the stature mandatory set forth in Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 24711, requiring the FRA to develop the pilot program to make for the railroad to own satisfactory over the Amtrak operate the passenger rail service partition. FRA to be considered with the passenger rail service provided over the route with lieu of Amtrak. Application. Certification that will 269.3 application. The certification that will not be applicable to any of the railroad unless until the Secretary certified by the FRA has sufficient resources adequate with the undertaking of the pilot program developed by this part. The FRA will provide notice for the certification for the FRA public website, but upon receipt of the route limitation of the pilot program developed by this part will not be made available to more than 2 Amtrak intercity passenger cities rail routes. Timely limitation of any railroad awarded the contract to provide passenger rail service under the pilot program developed by this part should only provide with the service of the period not exceeding 5 years after the October 1st, 16, 2008, and later date authorized in statute. Definitions. Acts used in this part. Act means the Passenger Rail Investment Improvement Act of 2008 and the Public Law 110.432, Division B, October 16, 2008. Administration means with the FRA with the Railroad Administration for the Federal Railroad Administration Delegate Amtrak means the National Railroad Passenger Corporation file or infiled means the submission of the document under this part of the date with the documentation postmark with the date of the documentation and the email with the FRA. The financial plans means the plan with it contained with the federal financial official year with the fully partially covered by the bid and the next annual the project consumer revenue with the expense for the capital expenditure for the requirements for the cash flow from operating activities, investing activity, the financial activity showing the source of the use of the funds attributed to the route and the statement of the assumption underlying the financial contribution contents. The FRA means with the FRA Federal Railroad Administration operating plan means the plan contained with the federal official year fully partially covered by a bid, a complete description of the service plan to be offered and retained with the train schedule, the frequency, equipment, the consider the fare of the structure of the such amenities, sleeping car, the food service provided, vision station, locations, hours, the operation provisions, the accommodations, traveling public, including the public the arrangement, the station share with the other routes, the expected ridership, passenger miles, revenues, client for the service between the city part of the private program to be served with the statement of the assumption underlying the operation plan contents. Passenger rail service the route means the routes described in Statute 249 U.S. Standard Code 24102 for the 5 B, C, D, and Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 24702. Petitioner's main railroad other than the Amtrak have been submitted with the petition of the FRA rail under Section 2697 of this part. Railroad means the rail carrier of the rail carrier is defined in Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 101025. Secretary means the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation. Petitions 269.7. Petitions. In general, a railroad that owns infrastructure over the Amtrak operates with the rail passenger service the route between the may petition the FRA to consider it as a passenger rail service provided over the route with lieu of the Amtrak with a period of time consistent with the time of the limitations described in Statute 269.3 of this part. Petition requirements of each petition shall be filed with the FRA no later than 40 days after the FRA provided the notice for the Secretary certification pursuant to Statute 269.3A with this part of the use of the following for the called method email to PRIIA214.gov. The description of the petition provided with the passenger rail service under the Title 49 CFR Part 269. The description of the route and the routes over the petitioner wants to provide passenger rail service and the Amtrak service of the petitioner wants to replace. Future petition in the event of the statute extends the time period under which the railroad may provide with the passenger rail service pursuant to the pilot program developed in the part of the petition under this section shall be filed with the FRA no later than 60 days after the later of the in place enactment of the such statute is authority of the Secretary issue with the certification under these two statutes 269.3 and shall otherwise comply with the requirements of this part. Alright, bid processing. Amtrak notification FRA will notify the Amtrak eligible petition with a file with the FRA no later than 30 days after the FRA receives the such petition. Bid requirements: the petitioner and Amtrak must both file the bid of the FRA to provide passenger rail service over the route to which the petition relates no later than 60 days after the petition deadline as established in Statute 2697 of this part using the following method: email the PRIIA214.gov. Each such bid must provide the FRA sufficient information to evaluate the level of service described in the proposal, evaluate the proposal compliance with the requirements described in 269.13b of this part. Describe how the bidder will operate with the route, with the description must include, not limited to, the operating plan with the financial plan and is applicable to any of the agreement necessary. The operation of the passenger service over the right-of-way over the route not owned with the railroad. In addition, the bidder intends to generate any revenue and ancillary activity other than the passenger transportation, accommodation, food service as the part of the proposed operation of the route. Then the bidder must fully describe the ancillary activities and identify the incremental impact with all relevant sections of the operating plan, with the financial plan, any other route on the route's performance under the financial performance metrics, all of them pursuant to Section 207 of the Act, together with the assumption underlying the estimates for such incremental impacts. 3. Describe the Amtrak passenger equipment that would be needed, if any, but describe the detail, including accounts, timing, and intent with the pursuit, with the purpose, with source with the federal funding with the bidder with the used, including but not limited to any of the federal, state, and other operating, subsidizing any other federal, state, and payments, containing the staffing plan will describe the number of the employees needed to operate with the job assessment with the requirement for determine the work of the prospect of the current employees, the bidder for the services outlined in the bid, and describe how the passenger rail service would comply with the financing performance metric developed in pursuant to Section 207 of the Act. At minimum, the description must include the federal fiscal year of the fully partially covered by the routes expected on-time performance training display with the include the metric developed and pursuant to Section 207 of the Act. The net cash for the operating activity per passenger mile, both before and after the application, and any expected public subsidized attributed with the route. Supplemental information. The FRA may request supplemental information from the petitioner or Amtrak for the FRA to determine whether such information is needed and evaluate the bid. Within such request, the FRA will establish a deadline in which the supplemental information must be filed with the FRA. 269.11. An evaluation. The FRA will elect the winning of the bidder or the evaluating bid again for the financing performance metrics developed under Section 207 of the Act, and the requirements for this part will give the preference of the awarding contract the bidder seeking the operating rules that have been identified with one of the 5 worst performing Amtrak routes under the Federal 49 U.S. Standard Code 24710. 269.713 Award. The FRA will execute the contract of winning bidders consistent with the requirements of the section of the FRA may authorize to require no later than 90 days after the bid deadline established in 269.9b of this part. The FRA will provide timely notice for the selection of all the petitions. Amtrak, the contract requirements, among the other things, the contract between the FRA will be winning bidders shall 1. Award the winning bidder with the right of the obligation to provide the passenger rail service over the route of the subject of such performance standard. The FRA may require it consistent with the standards developed under Section 207 of the Act, and the duration consistent with the Statute 269.3c of this part. Award the winning bidder with the operating subsidized for the first year with the level not except for the level effective during the official year preceding the official year in which the petition was received. Adjust the inflation for the subsequent years at such a level than adjust the inflation. Conditions, operation, subsidiary rights upon winning of the bidder with continuing to provide passenger rail service of the route no less than frequent, no more over the short distance over the Amtrak provided with the route before awarded. 4. Condition operating with a subsidiary rights winning bidder for the compliance with many of the standards established under Section 207 of the Act and such additional performance standards that the FRA may establish. 5. Subject to the winner bidder to the grant and conditions established in Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 24405. C. Staffing plan publication. The winning bidder shall make a staffing plan required by 269.9b4 of the part available to the public after the bid award. Alright, 269.15. Access to facilities and employees. Access to facilities and award under Statute 26913 with the part made with the railroad other than Amtrak will provide with access for the reservation of the system, the station, and facilities directly related to the operation to the winning of the bid or award of the contract owned by the part in accordance with the Section 217 of the Act necessary to carry out the purpose of this part. B. The employees may with the person railroad operation of the route under the part shall be considered the employee of the railroad and subject to the applicable federal law regulations governing signal craft with the classes and employee of the Amtrak, including the provisions under Section 121 Amtrak Reform Accountability Act of 1997 relating to the employees who provide food and beverage services. Hiring performance. Winning bidders shall provide the hiring preference qualified employee Amtrak employees displaced an award with the bid consistent with the staffing plan submitted to the winning bidder. 269.17 Cessation of service. If the railroad awarded the route under the part of the cause to cease to operate with service and fails to fulfill the obligation over the contractor required in 269.17, the part with the administrative collaboration of Surfaces and Transportation Board shall take any necessary action consistent with Title 49 of the United States Code to enforce the contract and ensure the continued provision of service include the installation installment of the interim service provided with the rebidding contract operating the service entity providing the service shall be either Amtrak or railroad eligible for the pilot program under the 269.7 of this part. And that concludes 269, Part 269.